Today, we got Iron Man taking on Blue Beetle. Who wins? Well, let's find out. Tony Stark was an arrogant son of wealthy weapons manufacturer Howard Stark. Tony cared only about himself, but this changed when he had a change of heart after he was kidnapped by terrorists and gravely injured. Stark was pressured to create a weapon of mass destruction, but instead created a power suit for himself in order to escape. Tony now uses his vast resources and intellect to make the world a better place as the invincible Iron Man. Iron Man's abilities are constantly changing because he's continuously updating and improving his armor, but he has some powers that are pretty consistent. But just for clarity's sake, Tony will be given his bleeding edge armor in this fight. Alright, let's get started. Now the armor gives Tony superhuman strength, and he's easily able to lift over 100 tons. He's even managed to take down the Red Hulk, stagger the actual Hulk, and brawl against Taurus, who had just taken Thor down just a few blows. The armor grants Tony incredible speed as well, and he can outmaneuver and dodge missile and laser fire. Perhaps most impressive, he can outmaneuver Gladiator, and even speed blitz Phoenix Force Cyclops. One of the most impressive things about the suit, though, is its durability and shields. Tony was able to hold his own against Colossus with Juggernaut's power, a hallucinating Thor, and Rogue with the powers of Hulk. His shields also held up against the final form of Ultron, and Emma Frost with half of the Phoenix Force on her side. Bleeding Edge is also equipped with countless different weapons, with the most common being his Pulsar Blast, Unibeams, and missiles and lasers. He also has miniature cluster bombs, homing lasers, multi-directional pulsars, microscopic telepathic tasers, and a sonic weapon that nearly killed Juggernaut. Tony's also incredibly intelligent, a skilled fighter, and as an excellent strategist, able to use his intellect to think of countless ways to take down opponents. Then, at the corner, Blue Beetle. Just a regular old high school student from El Paso, Texas. Jaime Reyes gained the Scarab after Ted Cord lost it. With the Scarab, he has great power, and uses that power to protect the innocent. The Blue Beetle Scarab is one of the most powerful weapons in the entire universe. Since Jaime has completely bonded to the Scarab, he's got so many unique powers and abilities. He's got superhuman strength, speed, and durability on really quite impressive levels. Jaime has held apart Giganta's hand as she was trying to crush him, and has even punched Black Beetle into the ground, made a crater when Beetle landed. He's taken to some Scarab warriors with Nestor rings, has taken attacks from Lobo and been smashed into the ground, survived attacks from Guy Gardner, who was trying to kill him, and Blue Beetle even survived the pain of hours of torture, compacted into a second and a half. He's also fast enough to block and dodge energy attacks. The Scarab can move at faster than light speeds, and Blue Beetle's even moved so fast that it appears as if he's in multiple places at once. Blue Beetle is also able to fly at subliminal speeds, and is even able to use his wings to block attacks as a shield. However, what really sets Blue Beetle apart from the pack is his vast assortment of weapons. I mean, the Beetle Scarab can basically form and create anything, from clubs, blades, and grappling spikes to sonic blasters, ion cannons, and antimatter blasters. The Scarab can instantly generate and provide a tool for almost any need that arises. He's produced nukes before. He used Chiral Blasters to knock out Red Lanterns. And he's got a large Hadron Collider, a strong Force Disruptor, and is able to use weapons to kill magical beings. Hama even believes that there may be weapons powerful enough to hurt the Spectre, due to the Scarab giving him options after options on how to handle the big guy. The Scarab also says that it has enough power to destroy a planet. But Jaime doesn't just have offensive tech at his disposal. He's got plenty of defense as well. He survived a nuclear bomb, created miniature force fields that held together an opponent's hands. He's created a force field that hurt the Flash when he attempted to vibrate through it, and is even able to disrupt some magical attacks cast by Eclipso. Then if Jaime is ever knocked out or incapacitated in a battle, the Scarab itself can act on its own and keep on going and keep on fighting. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now this is a fight that I would love to see play out in the comics if I could, just because it's so much fun. And I really believe that these two heroes are closer than people usually realize. So who's physically more powerful here? Well, Iron Man is way stronger here. Blue Beetle is strong enough to hold apart Giganto's fist, or battle Black Beetle and smash him into the ground. That's nothing that Tony can't do as well. And really, Iron Man has done so much more. I mean, he staggered the Hulk on several occasions with his punches, manhandled Red Hulk, beat Magneto while Eric was amped by the magnetic fields of several planets, and he's brawled with Taurus, who had just earlier knocked out Thor with a couple of blows. Yeah, I'd say Iron Man is way stronger. He's also more durable, as the Bleeding Edge armor is arguably Iron Man's most durable armor ever. Now, I have to give it to Jaime. Blue Beetle is a whole lot more durable than he is strong. I mean, he's straight up survived a nuclear bomb before. He's fallen to a planet and went through re-entry. Has survived attacks from Guy Gardner, who's strong enough to injure Superman. He's taken hits from a Scarab warrior, who was amped with Sinestro Ring, and while he was able to take an attack from Lobo, one attack from the main man almost took him out of the fight for good. On the other hand, Iron Man survived the heat of Odin's Forge, which Odin believed was impossible. He's taken attacks from the Hood with the Infinity Gauntlet, was only staggered by punches from the unstoppable Colossus with the powers of Juggernaut. He's undamaged by Gladiator's Heat Vision, which has hurt the Hulk before, and then he's taken blows from Rogue with the powers of Hulk. He's even taken blows from a hallucinating Thor. And then even his shields are kinda insane. I mean, Iron Man and his shields have withstood attacks from Emma Frost with half of the power of the Phoenix Force, and Blast from the final form of Ultron, who is the most powerful version of Ultron ever, and was able to battle against all the heroes of Earth at once. Lastly, what about speed? Well, Blue Beetle is definitely superhumanly fast, being able to block and dodge energy attacks after they were fired. One time, he was able to use speed and time dilation to appear in 3 places at once around the world. And the Scarab is actually able to travel faster than the speed of light, although this is more just traveling from point A to point B, not really speed that he can use in combat. In combat, well, once again, Iron Man. He's suited up in the middle of an explosion, with an explosion being as quick as a microsecond. He's kept up with Phoenix Force Hope, actually speed blitzed Phoenix Force Cyclops. Tony's even flown around and outmaneuvered Gladiator, who was able to move faster than the speed of light. However, I just don't really see this fight playing out as a hand-to-hand or purely physical confrontation. That's mostly just because of all the incredible weaponry and firepower that both of these guys are packing. And that's where things kinda get interesting. also possibly a bit confusing. Now, I've heard it suggested that Blue Beetle and the Reach technology far outclass Tony Stark and his Iron Man armor, to the point where it's light years ahead of Tony's wildest dreams. That's the difference between a horse-drawn carriage and the Starship Enterprise. Now that's just freaking insane. What a ludicrous statement. They're definitely not that far apart. Not even close. However, with that being said, Blue Beetle and the Scarab are more powerful than Iron Man. For starters, he can produce nukes, one shot and defeat OMAX, and he's got things like the Large Hadron Collider, Strong Force Disruptor, and the Scarab even said it's got weapons that can destroy a planet. And the Scarab really isn't one to lie. He was even able to match an energy blast from Starro, who was amped with 5 Sinestro rings. Blue Beetle is also unique in that he can adapt to almost any situation and come up with the best weapon for that specific instance. Then there was the Blue Beetle's encounter with Spectre himself, which is arguably one of his more famous encounters. However, it's not like Blue Beetle actually fought against Spectre in an actual fight. That would just be insane. Blue Beetle did try and stop the Spectre, and the Scarab gave a few suggestions for how they could beat him. However, Jaime turned all these suggestions down, instead resorting for a non-lethal and non-confrontational approach, and Spectre walked right through it. That's kind of the thing here. Iron Man isn't fighting the Scarab, something that is willing to use all of its power in a lethal way in order to win and come out on top. He's fighting against Jaime Reyes, a control of the Scarab, otherwise known as Blue Beetle. And that actually really favors Iron Man. Because first off, Jaime isn't really willing to use lethal force, or even all of his power, in order to come out on top. He's also relatively inexperienced, especially compared to Iron Man. And Jaime is really just a high schooler, while Tony, easily one of the top 5 smartest people on Earth, and has been doing stuff like this for decades. And yes, while the Scarab does give him advice and coach him through situations, we've already seen that Jaime doesn't take this advice all the time, and instead does his own thing. And on top of all that, Iron Man definitely has the weapons to injure Blue Beetle. For starters, Iron Man's bleeding edge armor is able to create just about any weapon that Tony can imagine. Actually, a whole lot like Blue Beetle and how he functions. Then just looking at everything he's done, well, he's knocked down Dark Phoenix Cyclops, staggered the Hulk, staggered Mangog, and Iron Man has actually been able to consistently one-shot Ulik, who's powerful enough to put a beat down on Thor. So yeah, Iron Man can injure Blue Beetle. Then I don't really want to get into hacking powers or EMP pulses, just because it's so difficult to know who will come out on top in that area. The Scarab is a unique mixture of magic and technology, which will make it difficult, if not impossible, for Tony to hack into. And EMP pulses and things like that generally shouldn't affect it. On the other hand, Iron Man has designed his armor with some of the absolute greatest anti-hacking technology in all the universe. So I have a hard time believing that Blue Beetle is going to easily get through there. So, end of the day, who wins? Well, this was Iron Man versus the Beetle Scarab. Scarab wins that fight pretty much 10 times out of 10. It's got so much power, possibly limitless power, and won't hesitate to hit Iron Man with a planet-destroying attack, or something on that scale. Powerful as he is, Iron Man can't really stand up to that. However, as we've already said, it's not the Scarab, it's Blue Beetle. Tony Stark versus Jaime Reyes. And that's a different story. Because while Blue Beetle does have so much potential, if it lets the Scarab do its thing, Jaime just holds back and limits himself so much. And because of that, Iron Man has consistently shown that he's stronger, more durable, even faster. That he's got the defensive shields to hold up to most all of Blue Beetle's attacks, and the firepower and weaponry to injure Beetle and put him down. And that's not even mentioning Tony Stark's much greater experience, intellect, and fighting skill. I gotta give this one to Tony. Iron Man wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button. More videos just one every single day. And I will see you next time.